If you bought a property in South Africa in the year 2000, that exact property would be worth on average 1.5 million rand. The year 2000, I was busy being 5 and playing around instead of buying property. I still regret it till today. The average home price in the year 2000 was around 271,000 rand, and today that exact same property would be worth 1.5 million rand, basically resulting in a compound annual growth rate of 7.4%. That means your property price grew 7.4% every year from the year 2000 up until today. That also excludes any rental income that you received. It's only based on appreciation. I often hear people asking this one question: is it a good idea to buy property today? The short answer I always tell people is yes. The only better time to buy property was 20 years ago. Property is not a way to get rich quick, but in fact it's a great asset that can build wealth continuously over the long term. If you are new to property and you want to buy your first home or investment property, I want to tell you that there's no way to time the market. Unfortunately, no one has a crystal ball to predict what exactly is going to happen in the future. The reason I'm making this video is to explain that property over the long term is a great way to build your wealth. One of the massive advantages is that property is accessible to basically 90% of South Africans because we can use leverage. If you knew how to use leverage and you had the skill to understand how to use other people's money in the 2000s, imagine you bought 4 properties worth, let's say, 270,000 rand. That properties on average would be worth almost 6 million rand today. That's much more than your average person's retirement fund, and the best of all is that that income was created without working for it. We call it semi-passive income. The problem is that people don't understand how property works and how you can leverage other people's money so that you will benefit from your investment in the longer term. I like to teach people that cash flow combined with a leverage portfolio is a great way to build wealth. If you understand how to use leverage and what type of properties to buy, it's actually really simple to make a lot of money. Just remember, leverage is like a double-edged sword, so you need to have the knowledge to understand how leverage works, and this is something that a small percentage of South Africans actually understand, and most of the time it's the really wealthy people that understand how to use leverage. I wanted to make it clear that in my opinion, today or 2024 is a great time to buy property. No matter what happens in South Africa, no matter what the interest rates or the inflation is, it's always a good idea to invest in property over the longer term. If we have a look at the 2000s, we can see that people on average bought properties worth 270,000 rand. If we have a quick look at the interest rates over the last 20 years, we can see that in the year 2000, the interest rates were 14.5%, and if we go up and have a look at the year 2003, interest rates were 15.5%, basically almost 16%, and people were still buying property hand over fist. And they are able to benefit from those financial decisions today. Majority of the time, people want to invest in something and they expect massive returns within a year or even sometimes within a month, and that's completely unrealistic. If you want to build real wealth and create a legacy, property is the best tool to do that. Taking everything into consideration that I just mentioned, something else that's really important to consider is that you need to buy the right type of properties. In my opinion, buying the right type of property is just as important as taking action and starting to invest in property, because imagine you buy a property that costs you money each and every month, which effectively brings down your return on investment. We want to invest or buy properties that can create cash flow and put money in our pockets each and every month, basically boosting our overall return on investment and giving us a massive advantage above the people that's buying cash flow negative properties. If you do not understand what I'm talking about, I created a course where I cover all the important stuff from the beginning, explaining what you need to focus on, steps that you can't skip, and how to set yourself up to become a successful property investor. I'll share the link down in my description, and just to let you guys know, the course price will be going up soon due to the demand for the one-on-one sessions. Obviously, I only have 24 hours and a day, and unfortunately, I can't help everyone. With that said, again, if we invest in properties, the idea would be to buy it, rent it out, and recover the money at the end of the month. So we have income, expenses, and hopefully a surplus at the end of the month. If you do not have a surplus and you have a shortfall, that property is going to drag you down instead of lifting you up. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, and at the end of the day, they get stuck at 1, 2, or maybe 3 properties, and then they don't have any money left to fund their investments. So to bring everything back together, if you want to start investing in property, you need to start today, but first you need to educate yourself on the matter. Education is what will help you to reach your goals. You need to educate yourself on every aspect of property so that you have the necessary tools to reach your financial goals. Instead of scrolling on TikTok mindlessly, go on YouTube and have a look at all the free content that I create on a weekly basis. That alone will help you in so many different ways. Search different YouTubers or other investors in South Africa that can inspire and guide you to reach your goals as well. Once you feel comfortable with the knowledge that you have, start taking action. This is really important. A quote that I really like to mention is, "The longer you wait for the future, the shorter it will be." So start taking action. I wanted to make this video to show you that there will always be people that says, no, stay away from property. Property is one of the worst investments, and it might be true in some cases, but I always ask the question, how many properties does that person actually own? If it's someone that invested in one property, but he says property is a bad investment, you should probably not listen to that guy. Property can be a great way to build your wealth, no matter what your age, no matter what your background or what your education is. If you have the will to learn and to educate yourself using all the available tools on the internet, you will effectively be better off than someone that studies for 5 or 6 years to get a degree. If you understand how the banking system works, how property works, and how you can use leverage to build an empire, you will be so much better off instead of just wasting your time.